Hello all. In this particular session, we will try to understand the status of air pollution in India. This whole presentation is based on one of the presentation made by the Dr. Prashant Gargawa, who is a senior environmental engineer CPCB. So all findings of his, which are available on net free of cost, are the things which are used to make this particular presentation. Rather, the presentation itself is made by him. I am just going to describe few possible things I have extracted and understood using his findings. His details are mentioned on this particular slide. So to start with this particular presentation, we will try to understand by making a four part of overall presentation, which are nothing but the actions which what have been done, what are the provisions those are there in India as far as the air pollution is concerned, what that has been achieved, which will be focusing something like a current status, then to identify the gaps, to make sure that whatever track we are following is correct or not, and then we will even try to focus something that what we need to done so that we can cope up with this problem of increased air pollution as such. So as far as the air pollution is concerned in India, we have the regulatory provisions. In that, we have the institutional mechanism available where MOEF or Ministry of Environment and Forestry has been established, under whom the Central Pollution Control Board is there, and under them the different state pollution control boards are working. We even have made number of the laws in terms of Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, Environmental Protection Act 1986. There are so many, and we even are revising the national ambient air quality standards time to time, where the health is a prime focus, in which different parameters including some HAPs are there. So HAP stands for hazardous air pollutants and such. So we even have the industrial pollution control things, where the at, before starting a specific project, the mandatory environmental clearances are essential to be taken, and those are once again specified for specified projects which are either been awarded by the central or state pollution control boards or both. Then we even have started using some cleaner fuels like beneficiated coal, natural gas for fertilizer plants, etc. We even have using different emission norms, and we are revising it time to time. These emission norms are rather been focusing different industrial sectors. Over 75 industrial sectors are there, ranging from the small sector like the building material manufacturing units, like building block manufacturing or the brick kilns, and can be as large as the automobile sector or coal power sector, thermal power plant sector. So these are the various sectors, and for them the different emission norms has been specified, and whatever norms those have been specified can once again be made more stringent if required, and that authority is with states as such. So to continue with that, we are even promoting the cleaner technologies like DCDA process of H2SO4 plants, membrane cell for caustic soda plants. So these are the some promotional technologies for cleaner environment. Then there are provisions of different environmental audits and statements are there. The environmental surveillance is there, where identification of critically polluted areas based on comprehensive index like CEPI is there, or implementation of action plan CREP is there. So this CREP is nothing but conservation research reserve enhancement programs or ISO certifications. These are some voluntary initiatives that are helping us to achieve the better air quality as such. Then vehicle being one of the major contributors in air pollution. So there even we are been critically working. We are currently in a stage where the BS6 fuel will be something which will be made available. So the BS 1, 2, 3, 4, these are previous fuels, and step by step we have improved the fuel quality so that the overall emission of different pollutants can be there. Then we even are promoting alternate cleaner fuels in the form of CNG, LPG, or electrical cars, or electricity can be a cleaner fuels which are being promoted. And we are progressively changing the emission norms. Then we are improving the public transport system. For example, metro work of metro in metropolitan cities like Mumbai are at its peak. So you can imagine that this kind of metro kind of thing can be better traffic management, where the burden from the public transport, or rather the private transport, will be reduced. Then we are phasing out old commercial vehicles. Better traffic management is one of the major reforms we all looking for, where we are restricting the uh, goods vehicle during the daytime. The even odds can be assumed to be one of the approach for better traffic management. All these traffic management things even can curtail the overall emission. Installation of time clocks and important crossing, construction of more flyovers and subways so that the vehicles can run, and they need to stop less, brake less, and in this process they even will emit lesser amount of say the pollutants as such. Then closing of T junctions, regular informations about the traffic flow through radio, so that the uh, burdens on the regular traffic can be reduced and can result in a lesser concentration of pollutants in the ambient air as such. This particular table represents the stricter norms for the emissions from vehicles. In 1996, there was a norm called 1996. Then we have started the norms following Euro norms like Euro 1. We have then BS 1 as such. This was implemented in 1999, and then they were progressively been improved as BS2, BS3, BS4, and now we are in a stage where we are about to implement the BS6 norms. So all these things are even responsible for making the emission of air pollution in reduced concentration, and ultimately resulting in better air quality as such. This table represents the reduction of sulfur in the diesel from 1996 up to 2010, and even the lead was emitted in 2000, where initially it was leaded petrol, which was then converted into unleaded petrol in year 2000. Then we even have the good air quality monitoring mechanism available, where the National Air Quality Monitoring Network has been established, which are where the 560 operating stations covering 175 cities or towns and more than 700 stations are sanctioned to monitor this. These numbers might be changed, as this particular presentation was made in way 2013. But to understand what are the steps, these figures can be assumed to be something which are on a guiding line. Then different parameters included in monitoring once again includes the major air pollutants like oxides of sulfurs, nitrogen, then total uh, particulate matter, suspended particulate matter, then PM10. So these are monitored on all locations, while at selected locations there are the provisions to measure the things like PM2.5, the finer particulate matter, then the things like BTX, benzene, toluene, and xylene, then the pH like polycyclic aromatic uh, hydrocarbon as such, ozone, carbon monoxide, and so on. Even at few stations, we are characterizing the PM10 to understand what are the exact chemical characteristics of these particulate matters. Then there is a continuous monitoring initiated in number of cities on number of stations, and whatever data that has been collected are generally been submitted to different pollution control boards at state levels as well as at CPCB or Central Pollution Control Boards, and that data is disseminated. Whether even that can be used for the understanding what are the trend of air pollution. So the trend analysis are done, then is resulting in the formation of something like environmental data bank. The real-time data even can be made available for the air quality monitoring station like New Delhi. Then we are having the monitoring of industries as such, where more than 1000 stations have been established for the uh, assessing ambient air quality monitoring stations. They are working either in manual, or there are some continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations, some continuous emission monitoring stations. More than 1000 is the number. More and manual emission monitoring stations are there, and whatever data collected, that data is generally been submitted to SPs, different state pollution control boards, and those control boards are once again disseminating the data for the sake of understanding the extent of air pollution and necessary steps to be taken. Then we even have urban air quality management systems, and that even that has actually made us understand what are the emerging issues. So many actions are there, but still, if critically analyzing, we'll find that the desired result is not been achieved. As per one study carried out by the World Health Organization, it estimates that more than 5 lakh deaths in India every year is caused only because of the air pollution. There are more than 75 towns which are not attaining the uh, all monetary requirements in terms of particulate matter concentration as such. Then once again, one has to understand very critically that our actions based on appropriate scientific studies, because there is limited detailed emission inventories in urban area are available. There is a limitation on exposure assessment. The more focus is on number, cost effectiveness is not considered. Then those measurement methods, whether their reliance is always under question mark. Not always, but there can be the questions so many times asked about the reliance of measurement, as what we need is the integrate approach not followed earlier, and the limited use of different models. Then strategies often are very short term. Long term strategies are very rarely used in a country like India, and is a need of the hour. Then PM10 is a critical pollutant in most of the urban areas. There are complex problems because of the multiplicity and complexity of the source. You will find that because of the extent of area, there are more than one sources which are very critical, which are very complex to analyze and to arrive on a certain conclusion as which are causing what kind of thing, and how to form the strategy to fight against it. Then information on air quality and source contribution is crucial input for taking policies, and we definitely need certain investments to be made, and those decisions needs to be taken. And for that, once again, it is essential to have the reliable data as such. So these are certain emerging issues, and but there is one study carried out by the CPCB, where the six city source apportionment study was conducted, where the Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Kanpur, Pune, and Chennai